In this video, we're going to look at the script folder inside of a Rails application. The script folder has a number of scripts that we can use to do various things to our Rails application. Some of them are management things. Some of them help us explore the performance of our web application. Some of us allow it to get to the guts of our Rails application. So we'll talk about some of those things right now. I have this folder, my cookbook application opened up here, and I have the script folder opened up here. Now I opened up a little bit further, and you'll see a number of scripts here. And let me bring up a terminal so that we can go ahead and issue some commands here and clear up my screen so it's not so confusing. The first script there was about, so let's go ahead and issue that command and we'll see what comes up. This is telling us some application environmental information, such as what version of Ruby the machine has installed, what version of RubyGems, the Rails version that's installed with this application, and the various other components of that. And it's helpful if you get you haven't touched an application for a little bit and you want to figure out what's going on with that application. The next script down here is breakpointer, and this is essentially a debugger where you can interact with your Rails application and set breakpoints and stop it at various points and check values of variables or status of classes and objects to see what's going on. So it's a simple debugger. The console is where you can actually start your Rails application and interact with that Rails application as if you were a web browser. So if we say script console, it actually starts our application, not where we're hitting it with a web browser, but where we can say new recipe or something along those lines. And so there I just generated a new recipe and I can manipulate it around. This allows me to test my various methods and classes via the console. The destroy removes auto-generated files created by generate, so it's kind of the opposite of our generate. The generate command is the command that we use to create controllers, mailers, models, scaffolds, and web services, and in the next set of videos we actually go into those in depth individually, because that's the primary tool that we use to generate, in some cases, full files, in many cases just stubs that we add information to for our web application. It's a very powerful tool to make web development very powerful. The performance folder contains two scripts, the benchmarker and the profiler. The benchmarker allows us to get performance benchmarks on particular methods, and you can compare two different methods if they do the same function but do it in different ways, so you can get some comparative data. The profiler creates a running time profile of a particular chunk of code, so you actually give it a particular method that you want it to run and profile for you. So the next thing below performance is plugin, and what plugin actually does is allow us to install various plugins. And if I just call it up here, you can see the different things that allows us to do. We can go out and discover new plugins in the repository that's out there. So any kind of Rails plugin, you can install it via that system there. Process allows us to go out and kill various CGI methods. The runner executes a method in your application outside of the context of the web. You could use this to invoke cache expiration methods from like a cron or something all that long, or handle incoming emails that you want handled every so often. And finally, server is the Ruby-based web server that we use for development. You don't want to use this for production, but it's very useful to use in the development environment. So that's just a quick overview of these scripts. Any one of them, you can issue them, and they should give you, if they're not an interactive thing like this plugin one, should give you a list of things that they do. For example, if we issue the script generate without any flags or anything with it, it'll actually give me some little help information to remind me of what this actually does. In the next set of videos, we'll be covering the generate script in depth, specifically to generate the various application files that we need.